ask a couple of questions. And this really gets to the question of who is the Ethiopian eunuch. So can you talk for a few minutes with us about, you grew up with this story, no doubt, in your faith. Where does this story rest within the Ethiopian church and in your faith? And who is this guy?
Yeah, the Ethiopian eunuch is a treasurer of a queen who lived in the first century. So when the church was accepted in Jerusalem, so there is this religion, Judaism, been practiced in Ethiopia by the Aksumite kingdom and all around the region called Ethiopia.
So hold on just a second. I want to make sure they catch that. The religion of Judaism has been practiced in Ethiopia for a long time, right?
Yes.
And this guy, who is a treasurer of the queen, he is not a stranger to the Torah.
Yes.
Right? He is Jewish, if you will. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, by religion, and even by some historians say that he's a proselyte Jewish.
Right, converted to Judaism.
Yes, Judaism. So there are still many Ethiopians who practice Judaism in the north part of Ethiopia. So they call them Falasha. But he's not part of that, but he's a treasurer and who was higher official during the reign of that queen. Actually, the queen Handeke, we call her Handeke. Handeke. We call it her, yes. So it's translated K. Handeke.
How about you just say it, and I'll just sit here and pretend like
Okay. Handeke. So in Amharic we call it Handeke, which is an order of queens who co-rule with the kings.
Okay, so it's an order of queens, and I want to show a map real quick. There's many historical likenesses of her, and that's what's on the right. And over on the left, you can see Ethiopia here toward the south of where Addis Ababa is. Addis Ababa is the capital, right?
Now, yeah.
Now it is, not then. But the blue line is put there to explain the Cushite people, and a lot of scholars think she was related mainly with the Cushite people. Is that correct?
Yes, the Cushite kingdom was a large kingdom in Africa, all from Egypt to the south and to the west as well. But it's after, sometimes I think they lost their kingdom. So the land Ethiopia, in accordance with the Greek philosophers, covered wider place than it is now. But we maintain the current Ethiopian country to be the biblical one, because lots of traditions, historical documents, and also the archaeological findings show more that this Ethiopia, which we see now, especially in the north part of Ethiopia, in Tigray, in the Amhara region, partly in Eritrea, you find those historical evidences, which is very much related to the Judaistic religion. And these kings who reigned that nation, or this queen who reigned that nation, had this man. And it's after King Solomon, actually. So historians tell that most kings started visiting Jerusalem every year to worship the God.
Did you catch that? Most kings are going to Jerusalem every year to worship the God of Israel. Yeah. And Judaism is strong in Ethiopia.
Yes. So then this man was celebrating that he went to Jerusalem to worship God.
Yeah.
And after arriving Jerusalem and going back to Ethiopia, on his way he was caught up by.
Okay, well, don't jump into my sermon. I do have one more question. So, if he's an official of the queen, is he traveling by himself on a pony, or is he traveling with an entourage? Do we know?
There is no exact historical incidents. There are lots of ups and downs with the kings and infighting, and lots of historical and religious documents have been burned down by one of the queens who was a Jewish. So you don't find many of the traces, but there are some monasteries and churches who keep also locked some of the historical things. You find all these historical evidences in the Coptic Orthodox
in the
Church,
Coptic,
mainly,
yeah.
not in the evangelicals. We don't have those documents. So it's only.
Yeah, evangelicals don't have documents. The Coptics got them.
We don't have those. Yeah, we refer to those documents from that church and historians, documents written by some historians. Still, we don't find significant documents about what it is. But he was an official of Ndake, and some believe he was the first person to preach the gospel to the royalty. You know, the Ethiopian Christianity is very different in that it started from the royal family.
Yeah.
So in other places it started from the ordinary people.
Yeah.
But in the Ethiopian Christianity started from the royalty. So it became now well structured. When part of, in history it became part of the government. The church used to have 1/3 of the power of the nation until the end of the regime of Haile Selassie. So it owned 1/3 of the land. It had lots of, bringing down and coronating the kings, and whenever they need, the priestess had power, but they lost after the region of Haile Selassie ended. So the church was very much incorporated into the social, spiritual, economic life of the people.
Yeah, they weren't marginalized from the beginning. They were.
So you find the Ethiopian Christianity, like especially the Coptic church, very much mixed Judaistic, Christian, Judeo-Christian practices you find there. Still, that church keep the Ark of Covenant, and they do that. So that tradition is kept very well there. There are lots of arguments and theological differences on that. But this man, they say he preached because he belonged to the higher officials in the royal families. So when he came back, he preached to them the gospel of Jesus
And
Christ.
faith starts there.
Yes. So it is the known documents, the known historical documents we have is that Christianity officially became a religion in the 3rd century.
Wow. So officially in the 3rd century,
3rd century.
but the roots and the stories go back to this.
But you don't find that much evidence.
Well, let's thank Mesfin for, thank you.